Hi everyone. It's time to get creative again. And I was sitting here thinking about how we could make some art using things that you might have around your house. I know that not everybody has all of the same supplies, but I was kind of thinking that most of you might have tinfoil at home, and most of you should have paper from your sketchbooks or just white paper, computer paper, and maybe you have some black paper. If you don't have black paper, that's okay. The other thing that you can always use, and what we always have around our house, are paper bags. I love the color of this brown paper. So you will need for this project some tin foil. You'll need a sheet of paper, and it doesn't really matter what color that paper is. You're going to need glue stick, maybe some glue, one or the other. I think that the liquid glue will be easier, but you can certainly do this project using just a glue stick. You'll need a scissors, and that's about it. So we are going to be using repetitive shapes to create a pattern on our paper using our tin foil. When we are completely done, we'll take a look at it, and I was thinking it might be kind of fun to use Sharpie markers on the tin foil when we are completely done and our project is dry. So we'll have to see how it looks, but we're going to get started right now. The first thing that you need to do is get your tin foil, and I just have a small sheet here. This is probably, I don't know, 8 by 11, and I'm going to need to cut out shapes that are all the same size, or multiple shapes that are the same size. So I'm going to fold my tin foil like this, and you can fold it any way you really want, but I'm kind of just folding it so that I have multiple layers. Tin foil is really easy to cut with a scissors. So I've got it, and now it looks like this. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 layers, or 6 sheets on this fold. Then I'm going to make a football shape for my shapes that I'm going to make. You don't have to make yours a football shape. You can make yours any shape that you want and try your design, but my shape is going to look like this. And I'm going to be able to get multiple shapes out of this. Now, I'm going to freeform this. If they don't all turn out exactly alike, it's okay with me. If you want yours to be exactly the same for all of your pieces, you might want to cut out a pattern or a template. And that means I would cut this one out and use it to cut all of my other shapes. I don't think I need to do that. So I'm going to take my scissors right now, and I am going to start cutting that football shape. Now I want to make sure that these separate, so I need to make sure that they are completely cut on each end. There's 6. I'm going to do it again. I don't know how many I'm going to need, but if I just save a little bit of the tin foil, if I need more, I can always cut more. So this will be 12 shapes. And again, I don't know that they're exactly alike. Let's see. This goes pretty quickly. And again, this tin foil is really super easy to cut with a scissors. There we go, and another one. Now I'm going to sit here and I'm going to peel these apart. And you have to be a little bit careful. So I've got, they're kind of connected here. There's 2 sides to your tin foil. There's the really shiny side and kind of a matte side. When we start to glue these down, it's up to you what sides you want to use on your project. I kind of like the shinier side better. So I've got 1, I'm going to just make sure that they stay nice and flat. I'm going to sit back and separate all of these, and then when I come back, we'll put our project together. All right, I think I am ready. I've got all my pieces cut out here, and I've got them sitting off to the side, and I also cut a small circle out of the tin foil. Now, I'm going to start to place these pieces on my paper. Now, remember I said you could use any kind of paper that you'd like. If you have a decorative paper or maybe a wrapping paper, that might look kind of neat as well. But I've got a sheet of white paper, and I also have a sheet of black paper here. I'm going to use my Elmer's glue. You can also use glue stick if you'd like, but I think the Elmer's will be what I want to use here. And you only need to use a really tiny amount when you start to glue these tin pieces down onto your paper, because the glue will not seep in or absorb into the tin foil, so it will you'll just need a tiny little bit on your thing. So I've just got a little small amount here. I'm going to put my circle in the corner of my paper, and you can kind of move it around if you don't get it exactly where you want it. And I'm going to kind of spread it out. And now I'm going to add my football shapes. Now remember, I also said that there were two sides to the tin foil. A side that is very shiny, which is the side that I am putting up. And then there's a side that's a little bit duller. I think that has to do with when you place your food on the tin foil or wrap it in tin foil, whether or not it's going to be stick or non-stick when you're baking. So I'm just kind of taking small pieces of tin foil. Remember, I pre-cut all of these shapes. And this one here, oops, I didn't separate them. They were kind of difficult to separate. There we go. Got glue on that one. Now I've got the glue on the wrong side. Oh well, I'm gonna put it down anyway. So I'm kind of just gluing these down and creating kind of a flower-like. Now I went off the edge of my paper here, and the reason I did that is because I want to kind of keep it consistent. I can always cut that off at the very end. I'm going to take my next row of petals here. This is going to kind of remind me of a flower. I'm going to go right here. Now I need to pay attention to not only where I am placing the piece, but also I need to look at the space between the pieces. That's called the negative space. And I want my negative space to be as interesting as my positive space. The positive space is actually the little tin foil football shapes here. So again, there we go. I think this is going to look really neat when it's done. This one goes here, paying attention to my negative space. I'm smoothing this out, so this is my negative space between my tin foil pieces. Okay, got another one here. I'm going to do another row right here. Could go here. I almost want to do two, but kind of make little judgments along the way as you go. And again, this one I didn't separate. I noticed that. So I'm going to take this and separate it before I put the glue on the back. Just a little dab of glue. Little dab will do. Okay. And I might do one more row here of tinfoil pieces before I finish it up. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. And again, when you're doing yours, you do not have to use the same shapes that I use. You can use any shapes that you want as long as you put it down in a repeated kind of pattern. So I'm going to keep working on this. I hope you keep working on yours, and I'll come back in a few minutes and show you what it looks like. All right, I have these all placed on my paper now, and I've got some sticking off the edges here, so I'm going to just trim those up. Now, if you don't want to take the time to trim them, you can simply take your paper and fold them over the edge. That makes a nice crisp line if you use the paper as a guide. I'm just going to fold it over. There we go. So it kind of creates that nice finished edge. And I can do that on all of mine fairly quickly, and then I don't have to get out my scissors. But now I've got my finished edge on my paper. I'm not done. I think that this is a nice piece. I did not fill in the entire paper. This almost makes me think of a flower, with this being the center and it kind of exploding out around the edges of the flower, and you're only seeing maybe a quarter of it or so. But I would like to take this a little bit further. I know that we were really paying attention to our negative space, our space between the foil pieces. Now I think I'd like to do a little design or highlight the areas between the pieces. And I'm going to do that with my Sharpie marker. Now you don't have to use a Sharpie marker. You can use colored pencil, you can use watercolor marker, but be aware if you use water-based marker on the foil itself, it will just rub right off. So you want to make sure if you're going to write on the foil itself that you use a permanent marker. So I'm going to go around here, and I'm kind of just going on the edges of this foil. Now, looking at this, I want to do a little design. I might kind of make a little bumpy design here. Kind of here, keep on going. Ran into that one. There we go. I can kind of maybe add little dots in here as I go. Now, it's up to you what you decide to do around the edges. So you don't have to do anything, but I thought it might really kind of highlight the foil if I drew over the top. Can I go here? Kind of reminds me of a paisley, doesn't it? So this is sticking up a little bit. I'm going to do this one now. I'm going to kind of be consistent. I'm not going to do them all the same. But what if I go? Reminds me of an eyeball now. That's the beauty of art. You can change things up and things might remind you of different things. So I think I'll kind of go this way and this way. So I'm going to keep working on this, and when I'm finished, I'll post a picture of my finished piece. Now remember that you can also work on colored paper. And I think even just working on black paper with a silver foil can be really kind of stunning. So above all, this is just paper, tin foil, and glue, and your time. Make sure you enjoy the time that you spend creating art. Have a great day. Okay, I've been working on my project for quite some time. I kind of tend to get a little bit carried away, but I think I finished it. I have filled in some of my negative space, and I left a lot of space here at the bottom. Although when I was looking at this, I was thinking, does it look better like this? Or maybe like this? It's up to you. It's a tough decision to make for me, but when you look at your work, you can decide which direction you want it to go in. I did not add color to this. and I am really curious as to how it would look adding color, but I'm going to save that for another time. So hope you had fun making this project and have a great day.